Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back to the Upper Tier podcast. It is Thursday. It's Thursday Tier Talk. I am going to be flying solo tonight. Darren can't make it tonight. He's caught up, but no problem. We have you there in the community. We have the audience in the chat, all that kind of good stuff. We are going to be talking tonight about the Champions League quarter-final. What a dark 2 weeks it was for the Premier League teams. 6 became 2. So we will talk about that. We'll give a little preview for the Carabao Cup final. Make sure you join us at 4:15 on Sunday. We'll be doing a watch along for the Carabao Cup final as well. Bit of crack on that. It's up there on the channel as well. So make sure you're subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. Hit that bell notification as well, all notifications, and you will be notified anytime we go live or whatever it is. We will do a preview for the Premier League as well, so we'll get your predictions in the chat as well and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be talking about the AFCON. Absolute crazy stuff, the AFCON, isn't it? Mental stuff. We are going to be talking as well about Mo Salah hitting 50 goals, joining the 50 club in the Champions League. Absolutely phenomenal. And we'll give our predictions and previews as well for the League of Ireland Premier Division and Division 1 as well, as we always do. And what we're also going to do, because Darren can't make as well, we're going to also bring you live coverage and reaction as well of the Aston Villa game, second half that's coming up as well. So strap yourselves in, bit of crack. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions or anything like that as well, or anything you want to chat about, or if there's anything I missed in the news, whatever it is, and we'll go through that as well. Into the chat straight away. Joanne, big up Joanne again. Belated birthday, Joanne, as well. It was Joanne's birthday on the 18th yesterday. So happy birthday again, Joanne, from the football side of the podcast, if you like, as well. And Baz is in there as well. The OG was just chatting to him. Big up, Baz. Hope you're good. Big Phil is in. Hope you're good, Phil. Hope everything is good with you. I hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day. I didn't do a whole lot, Phil. The missus was away. She went away, so she was in Manchester and Liverpool shopping and doing all that kind of stuff with our good friend Thelma. So I was minding the dogs and minding the house, and I had quite a quiet Paddy's Day, actually. People were off, so there wasn't too many people here. So I spent most of it on my own, just chilling, watching a bit of Netflix, eating a bit of food, and spending some time with the dogs and stuff. So, yeah, pretty good. Good Paddy's Day, as they say. Not too bad at all. I've had worse ones. So let's kick it off and let's start. Aston Villa are about to kick off here for the second half as well. So we keep an eye on that in a kind of a semi kind of watch along format as well. But we'll start off with the Champions League first of all. So PSG got through. It was a kind of a nightmare week, wasn't it, for the Premier League teams? They got absolutely slapped up, with the exception of Arsenal, obviously, and Liverpool, who went through. But the other teams, my God, absolutely, like Spurs, gave a reasonable account of themselves, I think, winning 3-2 on the night, but just gave themselves too much to do, really. And they knew that they'd have to score goals and not cough up any goals with any hope of getting through and stuff, but didn't make it. I suppose the big surprise was Bodo Glimt and Sporting. Sporting were like 500 to 1, I think, or something to get through, and they ended up going through 5-3. Absolutely phenomenal turnaround for them, and it'll be interesting to see then how they compare to Arsenal and stuff like that. And Arsenal on a real tear at the moment. Everything seems to be going right for them and stuff like that. But will it go right this Sunday as they try and put the first piece of silverware in the cabinet in 6-7 years at this stage? Really important. Arteta obviously in his first half of his season winning the FA Cup, of course, but he'll be looking to kind of put that Carabao Cup in there and start things off in what could potentially be a historic quad, maybe, you know what I mean? Because they literally have one hand on the Premier League trophy at this stage. They've got a reasonable draw in the Champions League, and who knows what could happen in the FA Cup. Lille, after going pretty close there, crowded out by I think it's Pau Torres, I think, who's wearing the mask. Giroud there with the effort. So we'll keep an eye on that as well as we're going along. Yeah, it is Pau Torres, I think, wearing the mask, isn't he? Doesn't look anything like Victor Osimhen, I have to say, but there we go. So what's your predictions, folks? What are you predicting here for the quarterfinals? We got PSG versus Liverpool. This is going to be a tough one for Liverpool. This will be an uphill one. But I mean, we played really well last night. We will have a Brighton preview for you in the morning. I did lash up a load of shorts there earlier on the channel as well. So look out for that Brighton preview. It should be out around 10:30, 11 in the morning. Early game on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff at the Amex. So I'm going to back my team to go through here. I know it's a stretch, but I'm going to do it anyway. If they can produce what they produced last night, and hopefully they can. We might give PSG something to think about. Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. Real with their own kind of problems, but going through well against Man City in the end. But Bayern Munich, my God, what was it, 10-2 last night on aggregate in the end? Hard to see past Bayern Munich, and probably Bayern Munich at this stage might be one of the picks for people to win the actual Champions League at this stage. So I'm going to go with Bayern going through there. So potentially a Liverpool-Bayern semi-final. Then on the other side of the draw, I think Arsenal will have too much for Sporting. But certainly the Sporting that showed up against Bodo Glimt, obviously different competition, stuff like that, but came back really well and will be buoyed by that. But I think Arsenal would have too much for them, especially that second leg. And then Barcelona and Atleti, I think you're looking at Barcelona there as well. What a number they did last night on the Geordies. Newcastle doing really, really well, literally up till half time, and then 2 quick-fire goals in the second half, and all of a sudden just the whole thing collapsed. Running out, I think 7-2 winners, wasn't it? And was it 8-3, I think, on aggregate or something like that, something huge. Anyway, there were massive numbers this week as well. Like over these last 2 legs, that round of 16, that must have been record breaking in terms of the number of goals that was scored for a round of 16 in the Champions League. Absolutely monstrous scorelines. But yeah, so that's how I think. Acer's in the chat as well. Big up Acer's, hope you're good. He's going with PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Arsenal. I think Real Madrid are going to put Bayern out there. Interesting. Second leg will be in the Bayern Arena as well, wouldn't it? As far as I know. So I don't know. That would be very, very interesting. Lille doing quite a bit of the moving here at the moment. Seem to be in control of the game and stuff like that, passing the ball around. It is still 1-0 to Aston Villa. 49. We're just into the 50th minute here now. Obviously, Nottingham Forest getting through earlier as well on penalties against Michelin. Really, really good to get them through. And also Crystal Palace going through after extra time as well against Larnaca. So, yeah, really, really good. Both teams through. So if Villa can get through tonight, then that's the hat-trick for English teams tonight in the conference and in the Europa, which would be pretty cool considering the disaster of the last 2 weeks in the Champions League for the Premier League. And in terms of that coefficient position for the 5th place, looks like now it could be tiny little bit in danger. So we keep an eye on that as well as we go along. But yeah, that's our kind of summing up. So let us know your predictions for the Champions League. And of course, we're going to move on now and we're going to quickly talk about the Egyptian king Mo Salah, 50 goals, joining the 50-goal club in the Champions League, around very, very good company. If you look at the names and that, there are some phenomenal names there, and rightly so, he's there. Funny, kind of weird, like when I think about it, it kind of feels weird that it's like, I won't say taken so long, but it feels like when I read this yesterday, it felt like it was kind of like, this is something that should have happened a while ago. That's how I felt about it. I don't know how you felt about it, especially you Reds in the chat. How did you feel about it? Did you feel like this guy should have been at 50-plus goals in the Champions League a while ago? So I'm not too sure. But let us know your thoughts on it. But phenomenal again from the Egyptian king. And I think Liverpool all over the park last night were absolutely phenomenal. Kerkez for me, I would have put him as man of the match. I know it went to Dom and stuff like that and all, but I thought Kerkez really set the tempo of the game early on, got stuck into people, absolutely upending his teammate, his national teammate. So that was pretty cool as well. But there we go. Real Madrid. Thibaut Courtois out for 2 months with shoulder injury sustained at the Etihad on Tuesday night. And you're still going with Real Madrid to go through against Bayern Munich. Talk to me, Aces. Tell me the theory behind it. What are you thinking? What are you thinking with that? With Thibaut Courtois, who's absolutely pivotal to everything that Real Madrid do. He's the man that delivers on those big nights when they're under pressure. I think Bayern Munich are going to have way too much for Real Madrid this season. That's what I think. I think there's too much quality in there. And I think there's a couple of players due back as well. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting. Right. Let's get into our Premier League preview. Right, we're starting off tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We have a Friday game. Bournemouth versus Manchester United. In the chat, what are we going for? Are we going for a United win, character continue? I would have thought so. I think they're on a tear at the moment, and like having that one game a week is absolutely brilliant for them and stuff like that, how they can prepare for these games. Let me know your thoughts though. What are you thinking? Manchester United tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, kick off the weekend, probably with a win against Bournemouth, I would say. Bournemouth have just kind of leveled out a little bit, I would say, kind of indifferent over the last 2 months at least, anyway, and stuff like that. And obviously losing Semenyo was massive for them, but I'm going to go with a Man United win. I think 3-1 Man United. Saturday, we're into the early game. Liverpool on their travels off to the Amex down to Brighton. Always a difficult game for Liverpool, or always a game that we make difficult, or they make difficult. And again, we've spoken so much about Liverpool this season and how they kind of sometimes they come down to the level of teams rather than operating on their own level. And last night we seen when Liverpool operate on their own level, they're capable on the night of blowing any team away. But more often than not, that's not what happened. And if you look at the first leg of the Galatasaray game, that's what happened. We went down to Galatasaray's level, and that's how we were playing. And that's why we come unstuck at times. And this will be a difficult one. Especially coming in after that Wednesday game and stuff like that. Not sure. I haven't heard the update yet on Mo Salah or anything like that. He did come off injured last night, or was subbed off, so I haven't heard anything else on that. But maybe he might be okay, hopefully. But I'm going to go for a Liverpool tight win 2-1 at the Amex. Brighton have been indifferent this season as well. But we know they do like to play football, and that's the kind of teams that Liverpool like to play against. So we'll see what happens. You think the Chelsea get a result? What are you thinking, Aces? A draw? Score draw? 1-1 or something? 1-1. Fulham versus Burnley. I think it's you're taking a draw there as well. You're going for the draws, eh? John McGinn, I think it's John McGinn just scored there. 2-0. John McGinn putting Aston Villa 1-0 up on the night here. 2-0. That's great news for Villa. Have a look at this. Emi Martinez releases the ball real quick after a good save. Smashes it down. Right on the right-hand side. Picked up. Switched out McGinn. Oh, slotted. Lovely. Lovely goal. Lovely quick goal. What a ball by Emi Martinez, folks. Wow. Lovely flick back inside and then squared to McGinn into the opposite corner. Keeper, no chance. 2-0. Who was that? Was that Morgan Rogers, was it? Morgan Rogers with the assist, was it? Beautiful team goal. What a ball by Emi Martinez. That is absolutely phenomenal. That's a real good goal. Ollie Watkins, I think, about to come on. So it must have been Emi Martinez. Or sorry, it must have been Morgan Rogers, I'd say, who got the assist. Fantastic. Emi Martinez there. Celebrating 1-0 to Aston Villa on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. So it looks like they're going to be going through. Fair play. Toffees, yeah, let's talk. Fulham versus Burnley, first of all. Fulham at the Cottage. I'm going to get Fulham 2-1. Everton versus Chelsea. Toffees to get something against Chelsea. Yeah, the only thing is at the Hill Dickinson, isn't it? And they haven't been very, very good. And Chelsea are going to be kind of like a wounded animal. I know Reece James is injured as far as I know. He'll be a big loss for them. Chelsea crashing out of the Champions League in such horrific manner. The backlash over the last couple of days has been gigantic. And the team will probably want to go out and put a performance on. But against Everton, this is a kind of a tough game. Everton, like, kind of physical, that kind of, Chelsea. Where am I going to go here? I'm going to go Chelsea just to sneak it, just because of the form of Everton at the Hill Dickinson. I think Chelsea will just sneak it. So you're going with a number of draws here. This is going to be a serious bet if it comes in. I hope you're going to do it. Looking forward to watching Timeware Derby on Sunday. Yeah, that'll be really cool. Nice build-up as well to the Carabao Cup final as well, isn't it? Villa on the attack here again. Game's opened right up now. Lots of space here. Lille a little bit rocked by that second goal. Oh, nearly a lovely ball through there. Pressing Lille hard now they are. Everton versus Chelsea, yeah. Chelsea just to sneak it, I think, but just based on form. Leeds United and Brentford. Paul would kill me if I didn't go with Leeds, but Keith Andrews has done a phenomenal job there with Brentford, still pushing hard, I'd say. Kind of feels like a draw, doesn't it? Kind of feels like a draw. That does feel like a draw now. You could literally go. What have we picked out so far? Kind of shading it, but there could be a couple of draws in there. Who knows? Into Sunday then, of course, yeah, the the Tyne Wear derby. Newcastle at St James's hosting Sunderland. Newcastle again will want to make up from the game earlier in the season, of course, where they lost. Really, really bad result, from huge result for Sunderland at the time. A lot of heat on Eddie Howe at the time, if you remember losing. Crashed out as well in unbelievable fashion against Barcelona. Kind of played really, really well for that first 35, 40 minutes. And then just fell asunder. So again, crashing out of the Champions League, they'll want to put on a show for the fans on Sunday. And especially against Sunderland would have been the derby as well. Newcastle maybe just to edge it 2-1. Just edge it 2-1 in what should be probably a feisty affair. Aston Villa West Ham, where we have the battle for relegation meets the battle for top 5. Aston Villa playing right now at the moment. We know it's always not a great recipe when you're playing Thursday night European football, then into the weekend for the Premier League. And we've seen it with Aston Villa at times. They come into these games and they're absolutely banjaxed. We've seen it there. Was it last week? I think we reviewed one of the games and they just look dead on their feet. There's a lot of players out there. Look at Morgan Rogers there. He's put a lot of mileage in this season already and you'll be feeling it. Corner for Aston Villa here. Keeper safe hands for Lille. Going to try and do the same thing and release it. Too slow. Still 1-0 Aston Villa. 59 minutes gone. 2-0 on aggregate on the night against Lille. So I'm going to go with Villa going to destroy West Ham. Acers. Wow. Newcastle are only 9 points off 5th. Yeah, but at this time of the season, Acers, that's massive. That's massive. You know, Villa going to destroy West Ham. Don't know. West Ham fighting for their lives here. Would you be so? I think I'm going to go for a West Ham win here. I think Villa don't like that Thursday weekend conundrum and stuff like that. I think West Ham will be buoyant. You know, they'll want to put a result on the board. They'll have already seen what Leeds has done. They know the big game is coming up as well. Tottenham, Nottingham Forest as well. So West Ham, if they can put a win on the board here, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the next game. You know, I'm going to go for a West Ham win. Forest will beat Tottenham. That's a shout, isn't it? You're not seeing an upturn in form and stuff like that. I know Forest will be extremely buoyant by tonight, going through on pens, but they'll have put in a heck of a shift. 120 minutes plus the pens and stuff like that. They're going to be banjaxed, I'd say. I think Tottenham win this. If I had to pick something, maybe a draw, but I think Tottenham win this, and I think Forest will be banging trouble because I think you're going to see a West Ham Tottenham win this weekend, and Forest will drop into the bottom 3. That's what I think. And then we move on to the Carabao Cup final. Acers is going with City for the Carabao Cup final. Why are you going with City, Acers? Tell me why you're siding with City. Don't just put the result in there. What are you thinking City-wise? What have you seen from City that can overcome Arsenal at Wembley? Let me know. Right, what did we make of this? What did we make of this AFCON, this rule? Absolutely. Right, Villa should have got a draw at Old Toilet, and Unai Emery won't be happy after last week's performance. They were really struggling, in fairness, Acers. They ran out of gas, and United opened them up. And I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Olivier Giroud, was he onside? Offside, was he? Beautiful finish. It's mad, isn't it, when you look at even these guys like Olivier Giroud, like they never lose it. Their movement and their ball striking and all is always on point. We even see it with the Legends games and stuff like that and all, you know. Don't forget, folks, sorry, I forgot to put that QR code up. Kelly's Heroes, great Legends match coming up. Premier League Legends versus Kelly's Heroes. Stradbrook and Blackrock, May 16th. Meet and greet, gala dinner, match, the whole works. Fabulous lineup. You know the lineup at this stage and stuff like that. Tickets on sale on Eventbrite. If you scan that QR code up there in the corner, that brings you straight to Eventbrite. You will not believe the value for money with the people you're going to meet. Unbelievable. Bring as much merchandise as you want to get signed to add into your collection. We are collectors around here. We do like our stuff. So bring plenty of stuff with you. The guys are always great. The players are always great. The atmosphere is always great. Bring the family. It's a great family day out. Mark will be there with the trophies. I'll be there with the podcast. we'll be interviewing people, having the crack and having the chat and all. So make sure you come along. Right, back to the AFCON. 2 months, nearly 2 months after this is finished, and this is what we are. This is what we are getting. The CAF appeal board decided that an application of Article 84 of the regulations of the CAF African Cup of Nations AFCON, the Senegal national team is declared to have forfeited the final match of the Total Energies CAF African Cup of Nations in Morocco 2025. The match, with the result of the match being recorded as a 3-0 in favour of the Federation of Morocco. So Morocco have been awarded the AFCON. Senegal have been stripped on it on the basis of Article 84, which is written into the football constitution there, that if you walk off or whatever it is, I think that's the way it works. If you abandon the game, the result is that the other team gets awarded a 3-0 win in favour. This is mad news, isn't it? Douglas Luiz here, I think, with a short corner. Ball into the box. Keeper safe hands again. Good hands from this keeper tonight. Little keeper. Still 1-0, 2-0 on the night to Aston Villa. But Lille looking to get on with it fairly quick now. Doing well to pull back too, though. So Aston Villa almost there. Keith, please God, let City win. Let City win. Yeah, it is a real nervous feeling at the moment, isn't it? At the moment, because like Arsenal doing a quad. I know a lot of people are not talking about it, and I know Arsenal fans don't want to talk about it and stuff like that. But like, it's not a stretch. It's not a stretch when you look at where they are. Like, are we thinking like I think Arsenal have a real good chance of getting to the Champions League final. I think they could easily put the Carabao Cup in the bag. Fella breaking through here. Oh, off the bar, was it, or the post? Clattered it off it. Oh, just ran away from him there. Villa after smashing it off either. Was it the bar or the post? Sancho, was it Jadon Sancho? Wow. Let me get a replay on this if they have. I want to see, did he hit the bar or hit the post? Here it is incoming. He absolutely murdered it. Keeper nowhere near it, off the side post. Keeper nowhere near it. Knew nothing. He was standing there, just whistled by him onto the post. He hadn't got a clue. Unlucky. Villa could have been 3. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I think, I suppose the feeling is, if you don't get the job done here in the Carabao Cup, does it affect your confidence then going into the other games? Does it have a ripple effect or a knock-on effect then? Could you see Arsenal potentially then, maybe coughing up a few results to let City get back into it, or would it be too much? I don't know, but I think Darren mentioned it a few times on the show as well, that he thinks the winner of this Carabao Cup could be pivotal, depending on what sort of season people are going to go on and have. Let's see what happens. I just think Pep will be wanting to one up on Frontera in the title race. Yeah, I don't think going out and winning the Carabao Cup does. They're just showing the replay of this goal again. Absolutely phenomenal. It was Jadon Sancho actually with the assist. Lovely flick back inside, squared to McGinn into the far corner. Beautiful goal. Jadon Sancho with the assist. Beautiful footwork from Jadon Sancho as well. Yeah, I mean he could like this is the thing. Do you damage their confidence that way? You know what I mean? Do you damage their confidence that way? And does that then have an impact on the game against Sporting, the 2 games? Does it have an impact then on the fixtures coming up? But I mean, the thing about it is City have been so inconsistent this year as well. In order for City to really make this a competition again after the last few results, they're going to have to go out and nearly go perfect. And do we truly believe that City are going to go out and win every single game from now till the end of the season? And I don't think they will. Now, the only thing they have going for them now is okay, they're in the FA Cup. They have us in the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup will be boxed off come Sunday. So they'll be literally nearly back to nearly 1 game a week, if you like, bar the FA Cup. So maybe let's see what happens. But I don't think it's really imperative for Arsenal to get some silverware on the board early. I know the Carabao Cup isn't the be all and end all, but it can be the catalyst or the litmus to better things and stuff like that and all. So who knows? I know Arsenal fans certainly. I mean, they've one hand on the Premier League trophy as it is. That's the big one. That and the Champions League, But you wouldn't be too sneery about a league and domestic cup double. Uh, that would chalk off what's been a fabulous season for Arsenal, wouldn't it? And Mikel Arteta. Absolutely shame, absolutely shame on the Afcon. Um, God, lucky they didn't give away a pen. Went in heavy enough as well. Is it being looked at? Yeah, it's a little bit soft, is it? It's a little bit soft. There wasn't a whole lot in it. But yeah, I mean, it's mad that they can come in, CAF appeal board, felt weird. Felt weird. I didn't even realise there was an appeal going on, until they announced this. So like it was kind of weird, but it's just sums up the AFCON at times, doesn't it? Barcelona will destroy Arsenal comfortably over 2 legs. You think so, Acers? This Arsenal side dismantled Real Madrid. I don't think there's a team on the planet right now that destroys Arsenal comfortably over 2 legs. I would be very, very surprised those guys. I'm not saying Barcelona can't knock them out, but I don't think it'd be comfortably. And I wouldn't call it destroying. I'd be very surprised. You'd have to have like a total capitulation from Arsenal. How mad would it be if Arsenal went down and Liverpool went through? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Don't see Arsenal win the Champions League, Niall. I think Bayern will have too much for them. Bayern always have their number. But Keith, are you thinking it's Bayern Arsenal in the final? That's the question. The question is that the final that you're calling? Are you calling Bayern Arsenal the final? And if they get to a final, anything can happen in a final. How mad would it be if Bayern got to the final against Arsenal and Harry Kane scored the winner? That would be every Arsenal fan's nightmare, wouldn't it? Again, not inconceivable. Not inconceivable. I think Bayern they have been the team to watch. Now, listen, Arsenal have been electric in the Champions League. Let's not get that twisted. They've been by far the best team in the league phase, and then we're coming into the knockouts here and stuff. And yeah, they had to deal with a Leverkusen team, but they dealt with it. But if you look at Bayern Munich, I don't care how bad the team you are. If you're in the Champions League round of 16, you're putting like 10 goals past the team. And listen, unlucky from Lille there again. Corner to Lille on the right-hand side here. 70 minutes gone, still 1-0 on the night, 2-0 to Arsenal. Lille here with a corner on the right-hand side. Went to do a short one, got covered. Stay with me for this corner and we see can they do something. This is Giroud's bread and butter, isn't it? This is Giroud's bread and butter. Look at him hanging out at the back there. Pau Torres all over him. Pau Torres recognises the danger. Giroud in the air is sensational. Don't be surprised if you get a Giroud header off this. Right at the back as well. So it looks like they're going to go along with it as well. Yeah, it went right for Giroud. Look. Goes out another corner, is it? Good covering there from Douglas Luiz. Giroud with the header, I told you. Look, off corners and the height he gets up and all, he's literally unmarkable off corners. Let's stay with this. I think they have another one, do they? Another one coming in, I think, this time from the left-hand side. You'll have Giroud wandering around the back as well. Pau Torres is on him like fucking Velcro. Like Velcro. Ball in near post this time. And recycled. Yeah. If that's what you're thinking, Keith. Fratello would have preferred Atletico Madrid in the semi-finals than Barca. Do you think? I wouldn't be sleeping on Atletico either. Atletico have looked kind of different this season as well. If you've noticed with Simeone here, to Douglas Luiz. Like if you look at Atletico this year as well, they've kind of flipped the coin a little bit in terms of goals and stuff like that and all. Normally they're when we could say 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to the Atletico. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They've changed this year. They're playing a more different kind of style and they're scoring goals. So I don't know. I wouldn't like. I know we bet them pretty well earlier in the league phase and stuff like that and all, but I wouldn't be. For me, it's a flip of a coin between those two. And especially when you're taking them back to the Emirates for the second leg. Let's see what happens. Sorry, Keith. At Acers, Barca defence is shaky at the back. It is shaky at the back. Real Betis now 4-0 up against Panathinaikos. Interesting. Right, free kick coming in here. Giroud on the end of this again. Do we reckon 73 minutes gone? Free kick about to income, going back post, I'd say. No, went short out. What are we doing here? Ball in. Horrific ball in. How do you not clear the first man? Giroud there waiting for it. Villa now on the break here. Keeper flying out. Ollie Watkins just couldn't get there in time. I think we will get Bayern versus Arsenal. I would rather Bayern versus Barca. I think it will be more entertaining compared to Arsenal. I think either way, if you get Bayern versus Barca, who do you think is going to win? You still staying with Bayern if you get Bayern Barca. I presume you're going Bayern if it's Bayern Arsenal. But if it's Bayern Barca, are you still staying with Bayern? Is Bayern your team regardless of who comes through the far side? McGinn going off here, the goal scorer. Playing a good shift tonight. Good El Pro McGinn, isn't he? Good El Pro. Yeah, but getting back to the AFCON anyway, that's my buen day coming on there. It's just crazy that, after the euphoria of it and everything that happened and stuff like that, Bogard off as well and Cash coming on. Bring that bit of energy for the last 15, 20 minutes. Right, Carabao Cup final. How do we think this is going to play out? I know Ace just dropped his prediction. He's going with City. But what are we thinking on this one? Carabao Cup final on Sunday. Don't forget, folks, 4:15 we will be live with the watch along for the Carabao Cup final. So join us. Bring the Sunday dinner along and the dessert, the whole lot, and see who's going to run out winners here. Can Pep and the Big Blue Shark turn things around this season and put a Carabao Cup in the cabinet as they've done time and time again? Or will the Gunners pick up a piece of silverware that they haven't done in a number of years at this stage and break that hoodoo? And if they don't, well, how do you feel it'll play out then? Could it have a negative effect? Could something happen? Aston Villa here trying to push, but Lille with the numbers tidying up. I'm going to go with an Arsenal win here. I can't see anything only an Arsenal win here. I just think City are just too indifferent. I think they're very blunt. I think when Haaland isn't really motoring and stuff like that, I think they really, really struggle. Now, I know Marmouche had a good game there the other day. Tidying up in the back here, Villa. Lille looking kind of plucky here and stuff like that, but they need to get going because the clock is running now. Here, the run now, it's about 15 minutes ago. 2-0 down, 1-0 down on the night. I'm going to go with Arsenal. I can't see anything only an Arsenal win here. I think City are just too indifferent. And Arsenal are on a roll at the moment. They're beating teams. They're still in all competitions. There's a real good team feeling around Arsenal at the moment. You can see it. There's a swagger about them a little bit. They feel like champions, So yeah, I'm gonna go with Arsenal to win this. Might be Arsenal though in extra time or something like that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, could you imagine if Harry Kane wins it for Bayern against Arsenal? There will be murder on TalkSport with the Arsenal fans. Imagine AFTV. It would be on fire. Villa on the break here. Is that Watkins again struggling? And Bemba. Emi Martinez telling people to just calm down a little bit. Just calm down. Villa with a real good effort here. Super save. Solid hands from Emi Martinez. Lille just getting a bit more joy here. Nah, that's not a pen. Not getting a pen off that. Boy, Matson. Yeah, that would be key to just imagine. Just imagine. I'm sticking with Bayern Munich. They have a complete team and some unreal world-class players. I would rather if it was Liverpool getting to the final, but I don't think we are strong enough. Well, see, the indignity for us is we get to the final and then either Barca just cross the box there from Aston Villa. No joy. Is that the boy Sancho, was it? Or seems Villa now turning the screw here now. Lille have had a nice little patch there for about 5 or 10 minutes, but now Villa holding on to the ball and stuff. Subs have done their job. I'm sticking with Bayern, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The indignity for us, Keith, is imagine we go and imagine we cough up a Champions League to Arsenal, or we get done by Barca or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I think it would be very difficult for us to get to the final. I think to expect us over two legs to be PSG and Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, I think would be a lot to ask. But you never know. I mean, the stock of Isaac coming back in the next 2.5, 3 weeks maybe and stuff like that. We know it takes a while for the boy to get his fitness and stuff like that. But if he came back, could he give the squad a bit of a lift that we need to push on to the end of the season? Who knows? As I've said in the past, if you look at that Istanbul team, I mean, how that won it, we'll never know. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? But yeah, interesting to see how it all plays out. Carabao Cup, as I said, folks, I think I'm going to go with Arsenal, probably after extra time. I just don't think City are consistent enough. I think City have some unbelievable players. So over Arsenal, if you just look at that graphic there, the wealth of quality of talent just in that slide alone is absolutely phenomenal. I think the key to Man City in the Carabao Cup final will be the form of Cherky. Obviously, Haaland's very important because he needs to put the balls away. But I think that the likes of Cherky and Reiners and those guys, obviously Semenyo, they're going to be key. When they show up and they're in their pomp, and Marmouche and all, and obviously the boy O'Reilly as well, when they show up and they're in their pomp, it's very hard to live with Man City. The problem this season is a number of them have not shown up in games, and that's where they've come unstuck. So I think that's where the problem will be. It'll hinge on the big man up top, obviously. He needs to put his finishing boots back on again. He's been quite blunt over the last number of months, and that's really affected City's form as well because they lean on him a lot for the goals. We know Marmouche is a very good player as well, but I think the reliance on Haaland is obviously huge, similar to ourselves at times with Salah, But yeah, he really has. And I mean, he kicked on, like, up till Christmas, he was like on fire, Keith. He was on fire. And that sometimes happens as well. Like, if you've seen it, you look at a lot of Mo Salah seasons as well. A lot of the time, he's been absolutely superb up to Christmas as well. And he has that kind of wintry spring fall off as well. And it's just, I don't know what it is. It's maybe they just either run out of gas or whatever it is. But you see it with a lot of the top strikers, They don't tend to have two really good halves of a season. You know what I mean? Like, you look at Haaland. Haaland's goals ratio this year is insane. You know what I mean? But if you look at the drop-off, if he had performed at all over the last 3 months, say, it'd be absolutely outrageous. You know what I mean? Like, his numbers would be absolutely insane. What did we say the other night? That goal he got the other night, what's it? 57 goals in 58 Champions League games. That's incredible. And listen, who knows? They could show up on the day, and it could be a very different story. We will see what happens. Yeah, let's get into League of Ireland. Then we'll talk about League of Ireland, and then we'll obviously round it out with the Villa game, obviously. So in the League of Ireland, let's start with the Premier Division. Of course, we had games on Monday as well. So games back at it Friday. Sligo, Shelbourne are visiting Sligo on the Saturday, which will be interesting. But we start at the top, Derry versus Drogheda. I'm going to go with Derry. Waterford versus St. Pat's. I'm going to go with St. Pat's on the road. St. Pat's doing well this season. But Waterford they're going to struggle, but at home they're a different kind of beast, and they can create some upsets along the way. Bohemians entertained Dundalk. I'm going to go with Bohemians on that one. I think Dundalk picked up a big win on Monday, did they, as far as I know, if I can remember rightly. Rovers versus Galway. Going to be interesting. Rovers' form has been a little bit indifferent this season as well. Coughing up the odd draw here and there and stuff like that and all. So against Galway, visiting Tallaght Stadium, Rovers should be all right. Friday night, underneath the lights at Tallaght Stadium, they should be okay. But Galway can be the upstarts in this division. There's no doubt about it. So would we be surprised? Absolutely not. What's that? My nose just spotted there. And Shells versus Sligo. Joey under a bit of pressure there. Get the job done there with Shells and stuff. So Shells really need a win. And normally when they really need a win, that's when they come up trumps. Tough little trip off to Sligo on Saturday, 7:45. But they should pick up the points against Sligo. So I'm going to go with a Shells win to round it out. Looking into the Division 1 there, you've got Cove entertaining Bray. Bray shown a bit more form now in the last couple of games and stuff like that. So I'm going to go for a Bray win. Cove did pick up some good form there. They had a good game against Cork at Turners a few weeks ago as well. But I'm going to go with Bray to win this one. Kerry versus Finn Harps. I'm going to go with Finn Harps. Treaty versus Athlone Town. I'm going to go with Athlone Town. UCD versus Cork City is probably the plum game of the weekend in the first division. So with that one, I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. The Students entertaining Cork City. And Longford versus Wexford, I'm going to go with Wexford. Heading up to Longford. So there are your predictions for the Premier Division here in Ireland and Division 1. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as well if you're looking at the League of Ireland, if you're making any predictions or anything like that. What's going on here? Matty Cash and Perro. Why'd you get caught into something like that? You know what I mean? What happened there? Was you booked? Didn't say the Cash pick up a book in there. Jadon Sancho going off. Bringing on a few players here. Is that Harvey Elliott coming on? Is that a hologram or is that Harvey Elliott coming on, folks? Take a screenshot of that. The treatment of this boy by Unai Emery is very, very disappointing, I have to say. Great to see Harvey Elliott back on the pitch. He's been treated really, really badly at Aston Villa, I think. Harvey Elliott on his day is an exceptional little footballer. And could be a real difference maker. You know? Look at that. Only on the pitch. See the difference in moving the ball so much quicker and stuff like that. Big old Phil in the chat. Shells are better on the road than they are at home. What do you make of that, Phil? What do you think is the issue there? I mean, obviously there's you don't want to let the season get away from you too quick. We're only at game week 8. And teams can get detached very, very quickly and stuff like that. But Joey would be a little bit concerned. You've been a bit blunt in goal, haven't you? Been struggling to find a few goals, haven't you? That's going to be the main thing. And then I suppose the seeing out of results as well. You've got caught late a couple of times as well. What else do you think it is, Phil? Because you're way closer to Shells than I am. What would you like to see as the difference? How do you turn the form around and get a big win on the road against Sligo on Saturday night? Will he ball off top? Looked like he was offside. Squared in. Finished. Is he offside? Bailey with the finish. He did look offside there, no? Chat. If you're watching this Villa game, watching here on TNT Sports 1, did look. I don't think Bailey was offside. I thought the initial ball out to, was it Watkins? I thought it was offside. It's hard to say, Niall, to be honest with you. It is hard, Phil, isn't it? It's a difficult one to call, and I know it's not an easy one to fix well. Yeah, you have had injuries, that's for sure. And I think when you look at the interviews as well, pre and post match as well, Joey has looked as bewildered as anyone really at times. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on it because I know you're close with Phil. You know, what's going on here now, Phil? Yeah, but we shall see. But some big games coming up. That's for sure. Dun, dun, dun. Anything else, folks, we want to chat about? Yeah, goal stood 2-0 to Aston Villa on the night, 3 on aggregate. Probably 3-4 minutes ago, plus stoppage time. Very comfortable now for Aston Villa. Lovely goal through. Amazing when he makes a few substitutions as well, brings that bit of energy and stuff like that. But everyone knows, big fan of Harvey Elliott. And I think he's in a team like Villa there where you need people there to move balls quickly and stuff like that. Elliott's really, really good at that. Not going to be much in it for Lille at the moment. Roma and Bologna 3-3. Interesting. Not going to be much in Lille for this now. Beautiful ball. To me, he looked. I thought he was offside. Maybe I'm wrong. See the hands going up there on the replay. Maybe I'm getting it wrong now, but to me, he looked offside. Obviously, they checked it. But yeah, not Bailey, obviously. But the Watkins ball, the ball to Watkins, he definitely looked like he was offside, but they obviously checked it. And normally your first instincts on these are probably pretty good at times, you know. But Villa look like they're going to go through, and it looks like it's going to be a hat-trick of teams going through for the English teams tonight, with Forest earlier going through and Pens and Palace earlier going through after extra time against Larnaca. So that's way more impressive than the Champions League. Do we think Aston Villa, can Emery go all the way? We know he's a cup specialist. Porto 2-0 against Stuttgart. Do we think Emery can go all the way, folks? Could Aston Villa go on and win this? And could this end up having to be there? Ball back in here. Was the goal or was the ball out? Giroud just looks disgusted. Offside? Or was the ball out? Offside? He's looking at the flagman for an offside. Oh no, the ball was out. The ball was a mile out. 3-4 balls out with, again, a lovely finish from Giroud. See him in the air. He's just lethal, isn't he? Real Madrid versus Atletico on Sunday night. Interesting. Madrid derby. What are you predicting for the Racers? You going with Real or are you going with Atletico? What are you thinking? Ball let bounce. Nearly goes through for Villa. Villa in possession here. Looking for another ball through. Oh, just lost control of it. Unlucky. Watkins again. Very unlucky. His form has been slightly indifferent, hasn't it? Easy enough to coast now for Villa. 3-0 up on aggregate, 2-0 on the night. Emery be delighted with that. Into the next round. He's a cup specialist as well. Don't forget that as well, you know. Any other questions in the chat, let me know if you want to ask me anything. Yeah, so our next, don't forget, Bran will be live on Saturday night with the SmackDown review. I'll have a Brighton preview for you in the morning, probably around 11. Plenty of shorts going up on the channel. As you can see, we're covering WrestleMania every day in shorts all the way up to WrestleMania 42. Carabao Cup watch along on Sunday afternoon, 4:15. Join us. And then Monday we'll be back with the Monday mashup and everything else that's going on. Atletico Madrid players would have been pissed after losing. Losing the top. I don't think they'll care, Racers, will they? I don't think they'll care the fact that they're through. I certainly wouldn't give a damn. I wouldn't give a damn. Oh, what a mess up by the keeper. Recovered well. God, Villa be kicking themselves there. They should put another one in the bag. 3 minutes of added on time here, folks. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, really. There was a good few subs and stuff, but 3 minutes of added on time here. Again, Villa 2-0 up on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. It's coasting through now. They'll be kicking themselves a little bit. They have had a few chances. Cocaine can try to buy. Yeah, in 2023. I read that today. I actually have a short lined up for tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be. We're gonna raise that Aces as a topic next week on the show. Actually, I'm gonna put it up as a topic on the show. How do we think the landscape of WWE would look right now if Tony Khan had bought it in 2023? And what would have happened to the likes of All Elite and the Bucks and Kenny and all these guys as well? How would you have seen that going? So we'll raise it as a topic. I'll put it out tomorrow as a thumbnail for the show for next week. Actually, that's pretty cool. But I think it's a really good topic. If Tony Khan had bought WWE in 2023 when Endeavor was doing their stuff with TKO and all, how do you think the landscape of wrestling would look right now? Oh, unlucky with a ball through there. Villa here on the break on the right-hand side. Cut back inside. Lovely ball through. Oh, unlucky. Good save by the keeper. Unlucky Harvey Elliott. Unlucky. There would be more death matches in WWE. I thought you were going to say there'd be more death in WWE. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? Lil on the attack here on the right hand side. Can they salvage something for it? Just a bit too high for the header? Edge of the box here. Switch it back out the other side. Took a snapshot straight down the throat of Martinez. No power in it at all. Took a bounce. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You know, maybe we could look as well. Is there any kind of, I won't call them dream matchups, but is there any matchups in there? AEW. Full time at Villa Park, folks. Finished, was it 3-0 Niagara, 2-0 on the night. Very, very strong from Aston Villa. Very, very strong through to the next round. I think Aston Villa are going to win this. I think Aston Villa have their name on this trophy. But is there any matchups there that we would like to see? You know, I mean, obviously we've had Mox in there and Edge and Christian, all that kind of stuff. But are you thinking something like, what would be a kind of a cool matchup? I don't know. Who would you pit Darby Allin against, or Orange Cassidy or something like that? You know what I mean? Or, I don't know, Wheeler Yuta or something like that. You know what I mean? Is there matches there for them that you would like to see made? UFC boxing on Sky Sports this year. Interesting to see how that goes as well, you know. I mean, is there excitement in the chat there for Rousey and Gina Carano? How do you feel about it? Is it like another one like Mayweather and Pacquiao? Is it like too late? Is it too late? Is the shine gone off at the gloss and all? Roman Reigns' title run wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. Wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. You don't think Roman would have been his boy? I don't know. Aston Villa through to the quarterfinals. Good stuff from McGinn and the boys. Yeah, I don't know. I think Roman would be his boy. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think in truth there'd be just like chaos, wouldn't there? Because imagine dropping that level of creative control into a WWE locker room and not having Triple H or Shawn Michaels. Like, imagine if Shawn Michaels wasn't the sounding board for NXT and there was no one there and you just had creative control within the crazies in the asylum. Imagine that. The inmates. Imagine what it would look like. Trey Arena bouncing with darts. Yeah, Ben's at it tonight with the lads. He sent me a couple of pictures earlier with bunting and stuff like that and all. So yeah, he's having a great time. It's always a good night out the darts night, especially down there when it's the Premier League and stuff like that. I was saying earlier, I was watching Gerwin Price earlier and he absolutely battered Josh Rock. I think it was it 6-0 or something like that, but Josh Rock never even got a look in. I think he had one chance of winning a leg. He had a double that he missed, and Gerwin Price hit the double 20 straight away right after. Unbelievable. Ted, how are we? Darby Allin versus nobody, so he can just do whatever he please to kill himself without anyone else having to bear that they killed him. Yeah, it'd be mad, wouldn't it? Be absolutely mad. I don't know. I don't even know if there is any dream matches people would want them there. I know people at times do pine at times for the return of Moxley in terms of a return of the Shield and stuff like that. No, I don't think Edge coming back would be that exciting. Christian, would you be excited for Christian to come back? Maybe. I don't know. And who would you put him against? You know what I mean? Who would you feel Christian with? Maybe Christian versus Dom. You know, Christian versus Dom might be kind of cool or something like that. I don't know. Very hard to tell, but we'll trash it out. We'll do it on the show on. I'm not sure if it's Tuesday or Wednesday we're doing it, but we'll put it out there tomorrow and stuff like that. And I'll use that purchase thing as the thumbnail and see what people think. We'll have a good old chin wag, as they say, because we've no pay-per-views to cover this weekend, so it'll only be Raw. Brent's doing SmackDown Saturday night with Emma, as always. Yeah, so that's it. Nothing else to go into, folk. Imagine saying MJF versus Punk again on WWE. I've seen you from somewhere. Would be the first promo. Yeah, imagine. Yeah. And what was the promo? What was the promo he cut? Buying 2 tickets or something for a one night show or something like that, or something crazy. Remember he cut that promo that time shitting on WrestleMania. MJS would love to be walking out on a WrestleMania stage, wouldn't he? Imagine. Dream match in from Keith. Show me this one. I want to see this one. Will be Gunther versus Brock and Stephanie versus Rhea. What about Stephanie or Rhea versus Tony Storm or Chris Statlander? Would be pretty cool. I think. You know, there's some good ones out there. Gunther versus Brock. I still like to see Brock versus Mox. I'd like it to delve down into a kind of a shoot fight or something like that for the crack, wouldn't it? Be mad. Ted's in. Christian is better outside of WWE. The things he gets over with would not be allowed in WWE. But it might be, Ted, if Tony Khan had bought it. You have to think about it. Don't think about the current WWE. Think about Tony Khan's world of WWE. Creative control and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Christian coming out, just telling people all night to go fuck themselves, basically. I don't know. Bologna and Roma is still going on here. 4-4, is it? 4-4 at the moment with Roma and Bologna. So Aston Villa don't really know who their opponent's going to be. Nottingham Forest have Porto. Interesting. Braga have gone through, but we're still waiting to see who comes through. It's going to be Betis, isn't it? I would imagine. And Freiburg versus Celta. It's got to be Aston Villa's year this year, isn't it? That's why they may not be too upset about dropping out of the top 4, top 5 if they go on to win it. Interesting. Well, listen, folks, thank you very much. Keith's back in again. Hang on, I'll get this one up. Stephanie for versus Tony Storm would be unreal. Did that not happen when Stephanie was in AEW? It may have. I don't know. I'm not up historically to be able to recall those things. It may have, and I'm sure they probably met somewhere along the line and stuff like that and all, but it'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool, I think. But yeah, folks, listen, thanks for joining me tonight. Unfortunately, Darren couldn't make it. I will be back in the morning. We'll get your Brighton preview up there for you, and there'll be a number of shorts from the guys as well. We'll continue on our road to WrestleMania as well. Bren will be back on Saturday night with the SmackDown review, and I'll be on Sunday with the Carabao Cup watch along. So if you could like, share, and subscribe, really important. We're really close on the watch hours now as well, folks, as well. So if you could put that grind in with us on this pathway and stuff, we're just about there as well. So we would appreciate it. Talk to you again real soon. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe and enjoy all the football and the sport if you're following it. We will be back real soon. Cheers.